welcome back to the EMS Handoff podcast. I'm David, and along with my co-hosts that weren't able to be with us, Eric McCullough and Bradley Dean, we are your source for all things EMS. Before we get started with Russell and MedCognition, we want to thank our podcast partner, the Journal of Emergency Medical Services. They're a great partner in getting all of our information out. And after our long, unfortunate holiday break, we are back, and we're going to get straight into it. We are coming to you from the TEMSEA, Tennessee EMS Education Association's annual conference. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of EMS in the state of Tennessee. And when you get to that age in this profession, you start looking at growing up. And we are so used to many years ago talking about EMS. We had these plastic mannequins. We would dump, they would do nothing. But you're changing that. So tell us who you are, tell us who MedCognition is, and let's go.
I appreciate that, sir. So, Russ Unrath, I'm the CEO of MedCognition, and ultimately, the thing we like to say first and foremost is we're not here for your mannequins. Everyone gets scared because mannequins have been the standard, and they'll remain to be the standard for quite some time. But we have created some custom applications called PerSim, which resides in something called the Microsoft HoloLens. So our users will put on these pair of lightweight goggles. You can see through them, so it's not like VR, it's augmented reality. So you're looking at your feet, you're looking at the wall, you're not bumping into barriers. And we use a system of optics and arrays to actually overlay the hologram in an array in the lens and then project it anywhere in the environment we're in. We got a couple little tablets that help, lifetime vitals monitors. We've got a controller that you actually build the scenarios with, so that's where we feel the future is going.
All right, so before we really get too in-depth with this, first, you're one of the title sponsors of the conference this year, providing, we've got over 300 educators here, so this is awesome. They're getting to see you all right in there. But let's go into the technology first. I don't want to put a plug in for my other podcast. My wife will absolutely love this. We actually discussed augmented, virtual, and mixed-use realities on our my wife and I do one called the Perfect Chaos.
I'll check that one out.
So we can get to blend the two here. But for the EMS world, let's talk a little bit about. So virtual reality is what a lot of people think when they put on a set of goggles. Like it takes you out of this environment, places you in a completely different, which is actually for some individuals kind of harmful because their brain doesn't transfer in and out.
Right, a lot of issues.
Then you have augmented reality, which we can do on our phones. We can do a lot. We animate. We take our current environment. But the HoloLens, like you said, it's from Microsoft. It's a set of headsets, it is a headset. And it is designed to actually do either. I've got a couple of them with my college as well. And they can either change the environment or add.
Correct.
Yours goes into that add. It's that augment. And what it does is takes your blanket mannequin, your basic mannequin, so you have that tactile touch, but now you make it real.
Right, exactly.
So why is this a thing that we need?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, it's pretty simple. Our big question is, what does sick look like? And on a mannequin, you just can't see that, right? You get the blue dot, maybe you can witness a birthing, but you're hearing the gears going. So we're trying to build that cognitive pathway where you understand the discoloration of the skin and the subtle changes versus, well, imagine he's not breathing. Imagine he's got, diaphoresis or cyanotic. You get to see those subtlety changes, and it creates a different cognitive pathway. So we're looking at making decision makers, right? Not box checkers in the EMS world.
So let's talk about one of your scenarios. I've had the opportunity to see some of the demo stuff, but one of yours is an individual with just chest pain.
Right.
Lying supine, he's out.
Yeah.
You set this up by placing markers.
Right.
So it knows where your mannequin is, right?
Correct, yeah.
And then let's go into that scenario just a little bit. So what do the users end up saying? We don't. If we could put a hologram right here, this is what you would see.
Right, yeah. So you get the individual supine, and I'm medical, so just bear with me here. But you're placing them 4 anatomical landmarkers. It lays over any mannequin, like even a crinkled up fire hose with a t-shirt, by the way. And we've got some good pictures of that we can share with you at some time. But they're witnessing now the different subtle changes. They're able to run a dynamic 12-lead EKG. It changes. You can manipulate that every time. So again, your students are calling out to the instructor who's holding a controller tablet, and the instructor is doing one of two things. They're either pressing play and animating that scenario, or they are physically tapping buttons on a monitor to change the patient in the different presentations so that the learners are now getting tripped up, seeing different TNP waves. I mean, all the things that you want them to be confused with, so they're making better decisions for the patient care and safety.
And not only that, but it's coupling sounds of the patients. Like,
I appreciate you bringing that up.
So we're talking about more of that immersive environment.
Absolutely, yes. So we have, not to cut you off, holographic procedures. So when the lens is on your head, you call out the word exam and auscultation, and a bell pops up. The patient will, in most conditions, sit themselves up, and now you're moving that stethoscope in air, and you're hearing 14 different points of auscultation at this point in time. So heart, wheezing, crackling lungs, and they're able to make a decision to determine what treatment to do next.
So now they're actually being able to turn to the patient.
Correct.
And use that as that versus I'm going to listen for breath sounds. Put my stethoscope up and you turn and look at the instructor because
what's the breath sound?
What the breath sound looks.
Yeah, so they're hearing that in real time. It's coming through 3D audio in the HoloLens. So if your learner is behind, you're going to get a different sound than if you're in front of the patient or to the side of the patient. We have a number of responses that the patient will give us by the tap of a button. But the one nice thing we've done in the controller is a little live speech button, so you can have the instructor in a different room and speaking through the hologram and really tripping up the students, which ultimately, creates better decision makers.
One would make this an obvious statement, but I'm assuming you have medical and trauma scenarios, you have in the different age populations as well,
Correct.
right?
Absolutely, yes. So it is baby all the way to geriatric. It's male and female for both, pregnant female. We are currently animating the actual birthing, which will be 90 to 120 days from now, which is pretty exciting. So you get 18 different patients baked into the system, and we have multiple ethnicities as well. So it's not just that standard, 220-pound white male mannequin.
Right. And the good thing is, as you mentioned, you've got those multiple points and then go over mannequins. So
correct.
You don't have just an adult mannequin you have to sit out there. You can, if you're doing the infant scenarios,
put it on a baby.
Put it on a baby.
School-age child.
And the idea behind that is, again, that immersive environment, you've got the sights and sounds, but you have the tactile feel as well. You're
Absolutely.
not just this random thing, which is some of the initial augmented or virtual environments you just touch, or you have controllers you have to. Now you can lay your hand down. You can palpate where an IV would go.
Yeah, you're still getting the feel through the hologram, but you're getting the realism of the change in condition, change in presentations.
So what is one of your most unique applications of this so far? So this has been around for a couple of years.
Yeah, about 6 now.
And so where are we seeing the market penetration?
I'd love to answer that question. So mostly we're getting community colleges with paramedicine programs. We're getting what we label internally as rural EMS, but like municipalities with smaller private providers or even some public funded. And we've got now a half a dozen high schools who are using the product that feed into these community college programs. So it's very exciting for us.
That's unique. And I will tell you, on the high school side, we've got, in my area, we've got some that are rather advanced, and we almost learn from them sometimes.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to get a hold of PERSIM through MedCognition, how do they go about reaching out?
So it's pretty simple. They can email sales@medcognition.com. That's going to feed to myself and 2 of my reps who are here at the show with me, and we'll reach back out and set up either a virtual demo, or we're happy to come out in person as well.
And then obviously the website, medcognition.com.
Yes,
you can
sir.
go there and get all the information. If you are, we're going to be releasing this while you're still here at the conference, so make sure go by the vendor area and check out Russell and his team at MedCognition. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Service.
We appreciate
Have
it.
A great day.
Oh, you too.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.